Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're a lover of texture, you are going to love this cardigan. I think the stitch sort of reminds me of a cable stitch, or if you know the knit bamboo stitch, it sort of looks like that. Now I have to admit, it is slightly fiddly. There's a lot of yarn overs and this, that and the other, but I promise you after a few goes you will be doing this stitch with your eyes closed. It's really easy. So for this pattern you are going to need a weight 3 yarn and a 4.5mm crochet hook. In this tutorial I'm doing a size small, and for all other sizes check out my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. So as I mentioned, you're going to need a weight 3 or a DK yarn. I used Drops Lima. You can use any other yarn as long as you stick to the same gauge, and you're going to need a 4.5mm hook and 3 buttons that are about an inch in diameter. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with our back panel, and we're going to be crocheting this widthways or sideways. What does this mean? This means that the initial chain you make will be the length of your cardigan, and the more rows you do, the wider your back panel will be. So for a size small, you are going to chain 105. Now I'm doing a smaller swatch just for demonstration purposes only, but you're going to have 105 chains. Now for row 1, you are going to work into the back bumps of every chain. I just find that's a cleaner edge, but you can work into the normal front side of your chain if you like. So for row 1, we are going to yarn over slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, insert your hook into your stitch, pull your yarn through. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to pull that first loop through those bottom 2 loops, and that's your yarn over slip stitch. And you're going to continue making yarn over slip stitches into every chain all the way across. And for row 2, chain 1, turn your work. And now you're going to work into the back loop of every stitch. You're going to do this from now on, working into the back loop. So you're going to go ahead now and you're going to make 9 yarn over slip stitches. These 9 stitches are going to be the bottom hem of your cardigan. So once you have those completed, into the next stitch you're going to do a half double crochet back loop only, and you're going to do that all the way across. For row 3, chain 1 and then turn your work. And now for this row we're going to be working into the 3rd loop. So where is the 3rd loop? Well, if you look here at the top of your work, you will see these V's. This is where we usually insert our hook, just right there. But for the 3rd loop, if you just look here at the front, you will see these horizontal bars just right here and here. This is where we're going to be inserting our hook. This is what we call the 3rd loop. So we are going to chain 1. We've done our chain 1. So we're going to yarn over slip stitch into that 3rd loop, and we're going to make a yarn over slip stitch into the 3rd loop all the way across until we have 9 stitches left. So now we have 9 stitches left. So into each of these 9 stitches we're going to do a yarn over slip stitch back loop only. For row 4 we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to make 11 yarn over slip stitches back loop only. Now 9 of those stitches will be the hem and 2 of those stitches will be part of the main body pattern. So do 11 yarn over slip stitches back loop only. So once you have your 11 yarn over slip stitches back loop only, we're going to do our wraparound stitch. So how do you do that? Well, if you see here, you're going to see 3 rows of V's. Just take a closer look here. This will be the first row of V's, the second row, and then the third row. It's the third row we're going to be working into. We are going to insert our hook into the next stitch. That's 3 rows down, 3 V rows down. And we're going to insert our hook from behind and under the bottom leg of that bottom V, if that makes sense. There's the bottom V, and there's the bottom leg of that V. We're going to insert our hook under that bottom leg. Now sometimes you might find it hard to know where exactly do I insert my hook. Well, we've already done 11 yarn over slip stitches, so if you count 11 V's on the bottom row, you're going to be working into the 12th. You're going to insert your hook under this V right here. So we're going to go ahead now and do our wraparound stitch. We're going to work into the next stitch, 3 V rows down. So yarn over, insert your hook underneath that bottom V, and then pull your yarn through and then pull it back up. Now you should have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to get rid of this second loop. So just pull your hook through. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through 3 loops. And that's your wraparound stitch done. Now we're going to do 5 yarn over slip stitches back loop only. Then we're going to do our wraparound stitch 3 rows below. If you just take a look here, this is where we did our last wraparound. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into that 6th, this is where we're going to be inserting our hook. So we're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull your yarn through, and then just pull up slightly. 4 loops on your hook. You're going to get rid of that second loop. 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through 3 loops. And you're going to repeat that across, 5 yarn over slip stitches back loop only, and then the wraparound stitch. And then at the end of the row you should have 2 stitches left. So into each of those 2 stitches you're going to place a yarn over slip stitch back loop only. Now for row 5, it's pretty easy. Just chain 1, turn your work, yarn over, slip stitch, back loop only into every stitch all the way across. Now for row 6, I just chained 1, turned my work, and I made 9 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only. And next we're going to do a half double crochet, back loop only into each of the remaining stitches. For row 7, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to make our yarn over slip stitch, working into the 3rd loop all the way across until we have 9 stitches left. So now we've reached the end of the row and we have 9 stitches left. Into each of these 9 stitches we're going to place a yarn over slip stitch, back loop only. For row 8, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to make 14 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only. 9 of those stitches are the hem and then 5 are the main body pattern. So now we have our 14 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only completed. We're next going to do the wraparound stitch. So again, we're going to count 3 rows down. 1, 2, 3. Right into that next stitch, 3 rows down. Another way of doing it is we've done 14 yarn over slip stitches, so just count 14 V's across and then into the 15th, that's where we're going to be inserting our hook. So into the next stitch, 3 rows down, yarn over, insert your hook, pull your yarn through, 4 loops on your hook. We're going to get rid of that 2nd loop, so just pull that through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 3 loops. And that's our wraparound stitch. Now we're going to do our 5 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only. And then we're going to repeat that by making our wraparound stitch and then 5 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only. And that's it. You're going to repeat rows 1 through 8 until you have a total of 22 cables completed. Then you're going to fasten off. Your front panels are made the very same way. You're going to chain the same number of stitches, but you're going to do just 9 cable rows. And then you're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail. Just to be clear, when I say cable rows, I mean, like if you look at this here, it looks like 2 cables. So you're just going to go ahead and make 22 cables. So this is the back panel completed. Just one big square. Here's just a closer look of the stitch. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's really nice. And then our 2 front panels that each have 9 cable rows. And the sleeves are done the same way. You're going to chain 87, but at the end of every row, instead of having yarn over slip stitches back loop only, you're going to replace those 9 stitches with just regular slip stitches back loop only. It's all explained in the written pattern. And you're going to do a total of 18 cable rows for your sleeve, and then you're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail. You're going to fold your sleeve in half. I made a mistake here. You should make sure that the textured side is in the inside, and then you're going to just sew the edges together. Now we're going to sew everything together. You're going to lay your back panel down flat. Make sure the textured side is facing up. Place your 2 front panels with the right side facing down, and then just seam across the shoulders. And then you're going to sew your sleeves in. Now we're going to do some ribbing for the inner edge. We're going to chain 10. We're going to yarn over slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. And then yarn over slip stitch into each stitch all the way across. For row 2, chain 1 and then turn your work, and then yarn over slip stitch back loop only into every stitch all the way across. For row 3, chain 1 and then turn your work. You're going to make 4 yarn over slip stitches back loop only. Chain 3, skip the next stitch, and then make 4 yarn over slip stitches back loop only. This is your first buttonhole created. Row 4, chain 1 and then turn your work. 4 yarn over slip stitches back loop only. Then you're going to place 1 yarn over slip stitch directly into that chain 3 space, and then you're going to make 4 yarn over slip stitches back loop only. Rows 5 through 11, you're going to chain 1 and then yarn over slip stitch back loop only into every stitch all the way across. And then for row 12, chain 1, turn your work, 4 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only, chain 3, skip the next stitch, and then make 4 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only. And that's your second buttonhole completed. Row 13, chain 1, turn your work, make 4 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only, then make 1 yarn over slip stitch directly into that chain 3 space, then make 4 yarn over slip stitches, back loop only. And then for rows 14 through 20, you're going to chain 1, yarn over slip stitch, back loop only into every stitch all the way across, and then you're going to do your buttonhole row, and then you're going to continue on then making yarn over slip stitches, back loop only into every stitch. You're going to keep making those rows until this ribbed collar is long enough to go around the inner edge of your cardigan. Once it's long enough, you're going to fasten off, and then you're going to sew this directly into your cardigan. All you've left to do now is just sew in your buttons and weave in your ends, and you're good to go. If you liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, don't forget the free written pattern is on my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. So until next time, take care.